Okay, so I talk about many different topics here on my YouTube channel, not just about jealous women, not just about narcissists. I talk about many things that I am interested in talking about on my YouTube channel. And today's video is a little bit different than what I normally talk about. And in today's video, I want to talk about the death industry, what it really takes to be a mortician, what they're not going to tell you. Now, I have a lot of respect for funeral directors, embalmers, morticians. Somebody has to do it. But one thing for sure, I would not be able to handle this kind of career. I would be depressed. I would not be able to sleep at night because I would constantly be replaying in my head everything that I saw my whole day. I would constantly I probably would have nightmares. So being a mortician, an embalmer, a funeral director is not the career for me. But like I said, someone has to do it. They get paid really good money. They get paid really good money, and you have to have a license. You have to go to college. You have to go to mortuary school to be in this field. Now, many people say that you have to have sympathy and empathy and emotional intelligence to be a mortician or funeral director or embalmer. Yes, you have to have empathy and sympathy, but the reality is, if you have high levels of sympathy and empathy, if you are an overly emotional person, if you are an overly sensitive person, this industry is not going to be for you. It is going to drain you. Now, I am not a sensitive person, and I'm also not overly emotional, but I consider myself an emotional person. So I personally could not handle working in that kind of environment, seeing death all day. The morticians see all kind of things. People that have been brutally murdered, young children, like they see all kind of stuff, and they have to prepare these bodies for a funeral. They have to embalm these bodies. And I would not be able to emotionally handle this kind of career field. So in reality, what it takes to be a mortician, you cannot be somebody who is overly emotional, overly sensitive. You cannot be somebody who has high levels of empathy and sympathy, because this career field, being a mortician, embalmer, or a funeral director, will drain you. Okay? You're not going to be able to handle it. Morticians, funeral directors, they do have empathy. They do have sympathy, but they don't have like high levels of it. These kind of individuals are not overly emotional. They're not overly sensitive, which is one of the biggest reasons how they are able to handle this kind of being in environments like that and working in the death industry. They're able to embalm a body like it's nothing. But if you are a sensitive person, if you are overly emotional, you're going to break down. You're going to break down. It's going to drain you. You're not going to last. I know me, I would not last one day working as an embalmer, funeral director, or mortician. Seeing death all day, smelling death all day. It's a very, like, you have to be an emotionally strong person to be able to work as a mortician. Now, I'm not throwing any shade at morticians, embalmers, and funeral directors. Hey, more power to you. I'm just saying I would not be able to handle this kind of career field. Now, I have a 2-year degree. I'm a registered health information technician. And so basically, I'm in the healthcare field, but I don't do direct patient care. I do not like direct patient care. So morticians, it's essentially it's patient care, but in the sense that they have died. They have died. Okay. And so they are caring for a decedent, a loved one, someone's loved one. They are preparing this person for a funeral. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And you have to be a mortician. Yes, you have to have empathy and sympathy. But if you have high levels of it, and if you are overly emotional, you're not going to last. You're not going to last. This, being a mortician, an embalmer, or funeral director, is going to drain you. You're going to have trouble sleeping at night because you're going to be constantly replaying the events that took place, everything you saw, the embalmings. It's going to start to take a toll on you eventually. So what it really takes to be an embalmer, funeral director, or mortician, I'm not saying you have to be dead on the inside and completely numb. You just have to be somebody who is not overly sensitive, overly emotional, someone that is not highly empathetic, highly empathetic, because it's just going to be too much. It's just going to be too much. Now, I'm not saying that morticians and embalmers and funeral directors are psychopaths. No, like they have no conscience. No, they're not overly emotional, if that makes sense. So if you're just going to get into this field just for the money, this field is, hey, you're going to get into it and realize it's not for you. Morticians, to be a mortician, you have to have a very limited range of sympathy and empathy. You cannot have high levels of it. Now, morticians, funeral directors, and embalmers, I have a lot of respect for funeral directors, morticians, and embalmers. Somebody has to do it, but it ain't going to be me. It's not going to be me. I would not be able to handle this kind of career field. I would go home. I would be depressed. I would have trouble sleeping at night. A lot of people have to take antidepressants because they got into the field thinking they're going to be making a whole lot of money and then realize it wasn't for them. And now they have PTSD. So if you don't get into this field, if you are an extremely sensitive, emotional person. Now, I'm not a sensitive person, but I am emotional. Like, when I go to funerals, I do get emotional. So funeral directors, morticians, and embalmers, these are the kind of people who could go to a funeral, and it's not saying they don't feel anything. They're just not an emotional person. They're not. They're kind of, I don't even want to say numb. They're just not an emotional person. It's not, they're just not overly emotional. So that's why I say if you're not an emotional person, then the death industry, being a mortician, you would last longer than someone who is emotional. You can't be in a funeral home being a mortician crying or being scared. you know, and a lot of people don't want to get into this field because they simply cannot handle working around deceased people, decedents. But somebody has to do it. And so this is one of the reasons why I have a lot of respect for people who are in this field, because it just shows that they're not doing it for the money. They actually have a passion for the human body. They have a passion for science. They have a passion for what they do. So I don't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to put this video out. I know it's a little bit different than what I normally post, but I just wanted to put this video out on my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next upload.